Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first of our weekly-ish live streams. Just an office hours, really, to talk about what's been going on and generally just have a chat with whoever's interested in coming on the office hours. So, on that note, actually, I do have a special guest with me this time, and some of you may have some idea who that is because they are quite vocal on LinkedIn and social media. So it probably won't be a surprise to most of you when I bring in the incredible Harjit. Harjit, welcome.
Yay! Hi, Dean.
How you doing?
Good. I'm doing great.
Good. Well, as I was saying, you put quite a few posts on LinkedIn recently. We were in Copenhagen together. Was it only Friday last week?
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and you really went all out with the posts there, didn't you?
Well, I kept some innuendos out there, right? Little teasers here and there, stuff like that. I think people started figuring out, wait a minute here, why Copenhagen? Why Denmark? You know, and then I was making, some fun posts with robots, right? That's our thing. And so,
The robots were less than subtle, weren't they? They were. I mean, Copenhagen is a tenuous link to Robopack, but robots pretty much, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So basically, I'm very excited that I'm joining RoboPack and Software Central as the Director of Community and Events. I am thrilled, you know.
It sounds like a fun role. If I could have any role, it would be that. Um, so when do you start?
Well, I'm it.
Good,
I'm RoboPack.
good. Well, welcome. You're wearing the Robopack shirt and you've got the Robopack background, so you're already one step ahead of me. I've got the shirt, but not the background.
Right, right.
Good. So what? So yeah, welcome. It's great to have you on the team.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm sure we're going to have a lot of fun.
And it's going to be
I mean,
great working with people like you and Andrew and the great leadership team too. That I've come to know. So, and you and Andrew, we've known each other for a long time, from
we
the
have.
MVP days and things like that, and various events. So it's going to be a great future
It
ahead.
should.
Yeah.
It should be fun. It should be fun. I mean, we haven't really had much chance to actually talk about what we're going to get done,
Right.
but this is the end of conference season, isn't it? We're pretty much finished for the year, and it's coming back in
Hmm.
September, isn't it? Where the events really start to happen. Because as far as I'm aware, like Denmark and majority of Europe go on holiday for all of July and August.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. July,
um,
August. Yeah, and then it kicks off
yeah,
in September. Right.
yeah.
So,
So it should be a nice quiet start for you then. I think that'll be good.
yeah. Well, I think there's some events here in the U.S. side which I'm going to be focusing on. So
Ah,
probably dabble in some of those in the meantime. Yeah.
excellent. Good. Well, I've got a few things I wanted to talk about in general, and obviously I'm glad you're here to kind of throw some ideas off and get some of your thoughts on some things. So the main thing I wanted to talk about first was radar tracking because I have
Mhm.
been doing demos with a few customers recently, and it's such a useful feature, and everyone wants to try it immediately. But there's some caution you need to throw in there with radar tracking because it's so powerful. It picks up all of the apps in the environment and allows you to automatically patch anyone with those apps installed, which
Right.
sounds great, and it is great. But there's just a few considerations you need to make. So I wanted to just throw those at you now. I'll try and share my screen. Actually, it keeps dropping, so I will have to apologize if it. There we go. Okay, so the idea of radar tracking, as I was saying, is you can go into radar and
Mhm.
choose your tenant. And from here, you can add a patch flow for any of the apps that radar's found in the environment, which is really useful. So let's go with Notepad. I'm going to choose add patch flow. And from here, I can choose create flow. And this lets me choose which group of users will receive this application first. Now, that will be normally my IT pilot users, I think. So I've got pilot somewhere in this tenant. Oh, that's not how you spell pilot. Um, where are they? My pilot computers and IT. There you go. So those people are going to get it first. And then what you think, well, great, I'm testing it. that's exactly what I need.
Mm-hmm.
But the next step used to be, or is should still be, more testing or the deployment to everyone who needs it. Right. That's what I would normally do. And
Right.
so you would have another wave here, which is deployment to people who need it. Which let me quickly grab that. So that would be, well, let's say it's actually going to go to my app testers here, my app deployment pilot computers.
Right.
So that's wave 2 normally. And then the issue is what we've seen with radar coming along and radar tracking coming along is that this little box here has popped up, and it's really it's right in your face. It's ready to be used, which is good to see. But we need to make sure we're using it right. So if I delete that wave there, you'll see it says when I click on enable, it says live with wave 1. And so what some customers have come to me and said is, look, I've enabled my testing ring, and then my next wave, not ring, that's an auto patch feature. I've enabled my wave 1, so I'm testing it, and then the next wave is going to be radar tracking. And that's not true, because these are synced. As soon as you enable it, it says live with wave 1, and that means that it's actually going simultaneously with the previous wave. So that's bad, right? Because then you're testing it, and you're immediately deploying it to everyone who already has the application installed. And that has caught a few, at least one customer out that I've seen. And that's why I think we've added this more obvious tooltip to say, look, it's actually in sync. And it's the only way that makes sense, right? Because we don't want it to have to wait until the final wave is finished, because it might never finish, right? You might have to wait a month. You might have to wait a month for all the computers in that pilot wave in the final wave to be complete. So we can't just wait until that happens and then start deploying it to everybody else, because it's far too long.
Yeah,
so
and we have compliance too, right? It's the longer you wait, you're trying to get a patch out there and stuff, right?
Exactly. So we have to go in sync with at least one wave, and it's the final wave, right? Unfortunately, if you only have one wave, then that is the final wave, and therefore it's live immediately. So that's the main thing, the caution around that. And obviously, when you have added in your app pilot users, where are they? Application. I should make that easier to type. App pilot users, and then maybe you have another wave for everyone who needs it, everyone who I know needs it. This one here, for example, I'd throw in a few users who need Notepad, and then we're making it live, and it's going live with wave 3. And this is perfect, because that means everyone... it dropped. Bear with me. That means everyone who... It dropped again, Arjet. This is no, this is annoying.
Issue here.
No, you know what? I'm trained for it now, because it happens in Teams as well, and I do demos quite a lot with customers, and it happens in Teams. I think I just need to throw the Mac out the window. So it's live with wave. So we've got wave 3, and these are the people who actually need it, right? These are the ones who I know need this application. But then there's the other people, the ones in this group, who are being added automatically by radar tracking, because they're the ones who I don't know need it, but they have it anyway. And then it's our kind of responsibility as admins to either remove the application from people who shouldn't have it, or patch it. We can't just leave them unpatched. We have to actually patch it. And that's what radar tracking is for, really. So I just wanted to call that out and make sure that we've at least covered it. It's all mentioned in the documentation and stuff, but it's just easy to miss that it's going to go live with the final wave.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's certainly a useful feature, and I think it's also better than how we could have implemented it, because what this does is it uses the Intune Discovered Apps feature to find out who has it installed, right?
Yeah.
And then adds those people to a group.
Yeah.
And one of the that was quite a difficult thing to implement, as you can imagine. And an easier way to do that would have been to push a second application to every computer, and to use something like a requirement script or something in there to check to see whether the app was installed before installing it. But
Yeah.
that adds such a huge amount of load to every computer every time it checks, because obviously the app is waiting to install on these computers, so it's checking every 8 or so hours to see whether it's installed,
That's
whether it's ready. So that's a huge ask
yeah.
for every computer to take on just to for a bit of convenience.
Yeah.
Um,
No, radar is definitely a great a great feature. So back in my, when I was in higher education as a sysadmin, I was actually managing applications a lot with Config Manager. And one of the issues was you never knew what applications the end users installed that you did not deploy.
right.
And here comes, vulnerabilities, and it could be, I'm just, for example, Notepad plus plus, or it could be anything. And that was a huge challenge actually. And but there were some tools around that you could actually see that data and then say, hey, um, I didn't push out 3,000 of these applications to my users. Like, what the hell,
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So
Yeah.
this is a great feature.
It is, and actually, just on the subject of Config Manager, that a lot of customers are moving from Config Manager
Mhm.
to Intune now because Microsoft are kind of pushing everyone that way, right? That's
Cloud
a
native,
thing
cloud
that's
native.
cloud. Yeah. Oh, cloud native does mean Intune, doesn't it? I mean, I
Yes,
I
that's
I
what it
keep
means actually, to move everyone
us.
off from on premises to, you know, full cloud with Autopilot and Intune and things like that.
Yeah, and I guess that is what it means. But I've always thought of it from my side as the kind of cloud only devices being cloud native. So yeah, because I stopped being a config manager admin about 6-ish years ago, maybe longer actually. Um, as soon as it stopped being cool, I moved off it. Really,
Yeah,
that's what I did. So yeah, there's lots of people moving from config manager, and it is worth mentioning that we actually have a solution for that. In RoboPack, we have the config manager import feature, which is I mean, it does exactly what you can imagine it does. It will let you
mhm,
connect to your Entra environment, to your Intune environment, or RoboPack technically, and then it will allow you to connect to config manager, the site server, giving the username and password for that.
yeah,
Then it finds the apps that are in config manager, and then makes them Intune win. I mean, it really is quite simple. The thing that from my side is that sounds like a great solution, and it probably helps a lot for applications that are not common. So if you've
mhm,
packaged up applications and done some complex packaging stuff, it'll find those apps. But the ones in the example, which I mean, this screenshot must have been taken a little while ago, but the ones in the example are 7-zip, Firefox, and Remote Desktop.
right,
Those are all available in the application library
exactly.
now. We shouldn't be taking the content of these old apps from Config Manager and putting them into Intune. And so maybe I think the way you should use this feature is as a combination between Radar and Config Manager
I
import,
agree.
because
Yeah,
Radar's already got all this information. So you just connect up, and before you even start importing your apps, you
yeah.
can use Radar.
I think this feature you definitely want to use it for your custom apps, right? Like you said, the complex ones that you've created with various flows and dependencies and things like that. Like, hey, sure, let's do that. But when you have things, very common like this, this is very similar to importing group policies, right? Into Intune. You
I
don't
guess it
want to
is,
do
yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
There's a tool that you can see what's available and what's not available, but you don't want to bring your baggage over. Start, you know, one at a time to see what you actually need and go from there, right? So same thing here. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, as soon as Microsoft made that feature available where you could import your group policies,
mhm,
it's a terrible idea, isn't it? I mean, it's if it was just importing your group policies, stop and do not move forward.
exactly.
But it's not. It's actually analysis. That's really what the feature was. It was you import it to analyze them and convert them to the common to the modern way of doing it
Mhm.
through Intune and MDM. And maybe that's what this feature needs. Maybe the next iteration of this feature would be taking a look at what you've got in Config Manager and translating that through the soft matching that we already do when we
I agree.
with Radar, soft matching that to applications in
Right.
the library and saying, hey, you can just do it this better way.
Yeah,
Um,
give it like another like a button or something that say, hey, this is already available, in the repository. You don't need to go, convert
mm,
this into a Win32 app or something like that. Um,
yeah,
yeah,
that's a good idea. I mean, I'm not going to do it. I'm not a developer, but it sounds like a really good
we
idea.
know people that
Uh,
can do it.
I do have a list of people who are actually responsible for that in Rollback, actually. So I could reach out. I've got them on Teams actually. I can just do that. But yeah, if anyone else has any suggestions of features that would make your life better, and then yeah, give us a shout, and we're very eager to help. Um, yes, okay. So that was the other thing I wanted to. Well, actually, I didn't even think about Config Manager, but you brought it up.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Anything on your mind apart from your fantastic new role?
Hey, I'm gonna be out there with robots, man. I got my robot, you know.
Oh, you do.
I do
Nice.
have my lovely
He's
robot. I can't. I'm so excited.
slightly transparent, but I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, good. So actually, I do need to share my screen again. Actually, bear with me. It'd be brilliant if it didn't stop sharing every time I looked away. Um, quick shout out to Andrew Taylor's newsletter, not to the newsletter,
Yeah.
to Andrew Taylor and his newsletter because it's essentially where I get all my information from for all the stuff that's going on. He just trolls through the internet and trolls through all the posts on social media, reads it, sees if it's interesting, and then puts it in the newsletter. So
Yeah.
that's where
Exactly.
I start. Um, anyway, so do sign up to that if you want the same information that I get. But one of the things that I thought was interesting was this post here. He's kind of um, tried to put down on paper why you shouldn't mix Win32 with MSI line of business applications in Intune, and that's a commonly held um, suggestion. Everyone kind
Mhm.
of knows that you shouldn't do that. Not everyone knows why, and so he's just put this down into a little post here about the fact that when you do, then they're using the same trusted installer service, and so when you try and push that push these applications in autopilot when everything's trying to install at the same time,
Yeah.
they don't care that they're going to use the same service and therefore conflict and fail. So that's I mean this screenshot from Microsoft. That's exactly what Microsoft say about it, but it's just a bit more information about it. So yeah, have a look at Andrew's
Is this still the
post on
same
that.
situation with the new autopilot device preparation? Um,
No, apparently it's fine with autopilot device prep
right.
to
Okay.
use
That's good. Yeah.
Win32 in line of business.
Yeah.
But as as Andrew mentioned, where is it? Uh,
The why.
there was something he mentioned here about even if you're not using it in autopilot, then oh there it only causes an error I fail in autopilot. It's still a risk if users get trigger happy installing apps. So
Hmm.
if you start pushing application, if users choose to install two apps at once and one is Win32 and one is MSI, then it's gonna break. And why take
Yeah.
that risk when it's so easy to package up an MSI as Win32,
Right.
especially if you're using Robotpack, or everything will be Win32 anyway, and you don't need to kind of cheat and go the shortcut route of just uploading a line of business app
That's true.
anymore.
And also,
But yeah,
the mantra with autopilot is that, at one time, I'm not sure people are still doing it today, but, they were trying to shove as many applications as they can in autopilot. And of course, it fails. It takes forever, or, there's some, you know, I don't know, dependencies or whatever. And also the mixing, right? You said, MSIs and Win32 and stuff. But you don't have to do that. You don't have to like shove everything. Go with your bare minimum that you need, and everything else will be taken care of later, right? So
exactly. I mean, just to, I'm just going to stop sharing my screen these days. It's not worth it, is it? As I was trying to say, uh, you're referring to the ESP, aren't you? I think so.
yeah,
In
yes,
devices and uh, onboarding, enrollment, they keep hiding things, don't they?
yeah. They keep moving
And
it.
then in the enrollment status page, we get to specify come on, you can get there eventually. You get to specify which apps are blocking, right? So you can
Yeah.
say block device until all apps are installed, or you can use selected applications. In fact, you can turn that off completely and not block apps.
Anything. Right.
Yeah, not wait for anything to be installed,
Yeah.
or you can it's enabled by default, and then you can say actually I don't want to wait for all applications because that could be 50 apps that the computer's waiting for. I might
Hmm.
just want to wait for my two or three applications. You can see I use Robopack. I've got a few demo Robopack quite a lot. Um, yeah, I might just want to wait for these really important applications, not
Yeah.
FileZilla. The Global Secure Access Client, for example. I want to make sure that's installed so they've got a secure connection to the on-prem network, and maybe the if you use a third-party antivirus, maybe that would be in there as well. So those are the things that you would have in that blocking apps list
Hmm.
because people don't need everything to be installed before they log in,
Exactly.
right?
You want
It's
to you
not
want to
needed.
get them as quickly as possible to the desktop.
Mm.
So once they get there, your applications can just trickle in as they're working on it, right? They'll have their Word and their PowerPoints and the Office apps to get them started. And yeah,
I mean, that's all they need, and it's going to take them a
exactly.
little while to get set up, right? They don't
Right.
need to immediately start using 50 applications all at once. I mean, at least I wouldn't be. Um, anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good way to not have to worry about the apps that are being installed anyway. There was one other thing actually. Just I've got the tab up here, which is a Hyperpilot thing. Let me show you the newsletter where this is introduced. Actually, it's in this latest one, and there it is.
Hyperpilot.
Steve,
Okay.
yeah, Steve Weiner from Get Rubik's
Yeah.
has released something which I think is pretty useful, pretty incredibly useful. Actually, it's a way of autopilot testing using VMs, right? It's what you should do anyway,
Yeah.
but fully automating it with a tool. So we've got Hyperpilot here. It says effortless VM deployment, built-in troubleshooting, seamless autopilot registration, all the stuff that takes you a little bit of time to test autopilot. Hyperpilot. Just, I mean, it seems pretty useful.
It's
Um, yeah, and it is completely free to try, actually, by the look of it. So it's a free trial for 30 days, and then not a lot per month, as it's just
oh,
like a
that's not
one-off
bad at
cost
all. Yeah.
to use it, and then even almost half price if you go for the yearly fee. So, yeah, I mean, I haven't actually had a chance to look at it yet, mainly because I use a Mac for most of my stuff.
That's like
Um,
what, one
but
Starbucks coffee?
per month, yeah, indeed, indeed.
So it's not bad.
Mm.
Skip
Now
one
I want
Starbucks
coffee.
coffee and you can afford this.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. Although soon it'll probably be 39.99 for Starbucks coffees, actually, won't it? With how things are going. Anyway, um, good. So that was that. There was a couple of other things. Yeah. So the other thing that I've been working on recently, I did a video yesterday. Was it?
Hmm.
Oh my gosh, my memory is terrible. Um, I think it was yesterday. I did a video on a tool called Tenant Manager, which is kind of the other missing thing from Intune. So one of the huge missing things from Intune is um, apps management, apps patching, right? And
Yeah.
that's what Robopack is there for, and that's why I've kind of fallen in love with that solution, and it works really well. But the other thing is configuration management and drift
Mm.
analysis and drift management and backup and restore and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And that's actually just been released by the team at Software Central as well. I don't. Let me. Now I
And
want to
credit
stop
and
sharing
credit
my screen.
to
I actually
Andrew
can't.
for being the brains behind it.
Andrew Taylor, yes, so
Yeah.
that, yeah, he's the guy who did the newsletter, but
Yeah.
also he works for Software Central and is the brains behind Tenant Manager. There's a link at the top there to try Tenant Manager, little QR code there. But really, it's a way of backing up your existing Intune policies and Entra
Hmm.
and security. I think security is coming soon, but existing policies, because at the moment with Intune, there's no way to say these are my policies and these are what I've backed up, and I might need to restore them in the future. There's no way to back up and restore without kind of grabbing the JSON and exporting it and stuff. So that's pretty useful to see. being available. The other thing is drift management. So if you actually have backed up your policies and everything's working fine, then one day someone goes in and makes a change, which happens quite a lot. Uh, you're not going to notice that. No one's, very few people are actually checking to
That's
see
true.
whether configurations have changed. I mean, they're obviously all logs in the audit log, but companies actually going through the audit log that regularly, they would spot a change and be able to see there's a delta going on there. Um, so yeah, that's drift management is pretty useful as well because you can jump in and actually see what's changed. In fact, I think I've got access to an environment still because I set that up, didn't I? If my screen can stay shared for a few seconds longer, I'll be able to show you it. There
Yeah,
it
this
is.
is really helpful when you have multiple admins, right? And who have access to your tenant and stuff, and someone will do something, right? So
Yeah, indeed, and that the drift management certainly is important for that. And you can see this tenant I've only got one because it was a very sort of quick demo as I was trying to do
hmm
and figure out how it works. I've only got one, and it's already drifted because I made a change since I did the backup. But you see, you can essentially go into your tenant here and see all the information about it. It's drifted against the gold tenant that I set this as because I set one of my backups as being the gold backup that I want to everything to kind of be based from. But then it's really simple to just click into a backup here and choose restore backup. And when you do, you can choose which policy you want to restore. You know, if it's changed, you can easily go in and find the policy you want, and then just confirm and restore it back. Really, really useful. Um,
very useful. Yeah.
So the other quick thing would be actually looking at setting up a tenant from scratch. And I do that quite a lot. And I'm really looking forward to setting up my next demo environment because Next Coffee um, is my current demo environment. I'm going to have a couple more set up as soon as I get a chance. And yeah, you can essentially choose the tenant you're going to target. At the moment, I've only got one, but you choose the tenant, then you choose which templates you want. So you can either just use CIS, which would be okay, but is a little bit locked down and strict. You can use the baseline that the Software Central team have built, or you can use Andrew's EUC toolbox baseline, or
hmm
you can build your own templates as well. Because yeah, I was kind of trying to think about being an MSP and what I would do for um, if I was setting up multiple tenants. So I've set up my CIS template, which is kind of the same as level one, but a few things changed. I wanted to see how that worked, and that worked pretty well. So I've now got the ability um, to grab templates from my existing tenant and put them into other tenants. So yeah, just very, very
Yeah.
powerful, and it's remarkable that it's missing from Intune because it's such an obvious thing that should be able to be done. Oh, the
That's
QR
true.
code covered your face there, Harjit. I'm very sorry about that. Yeah, scan Harjit's face. Yeah, so that actually is a trial link because it's actually completely free to try as well,
hmm
and you get access to all these templates and stuff, and that will let you see what it's like. You can also ask for a demo, but I understand Andrew and the team are incredibly busy with demos because you can imagine this is so popular.
It just
Um,
launched last week, so
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, but it's such an easy thing to jump in and try. You know, you might as well try
Right.
it first, and then if you are stuck, reach out and get some help in doing the exact thing you want to do with it. But yeah, that's definitely worth a look. Uh, yeah, and I'm just going to use it from now on. That's pretty much all I'm going to be using. So all good.
That's awesome.
Um,
What else?
yeah.
What else we got?
What else? What else? What else?
So, I'm trying to think. Well, you covered quite a bit though. Config manager, radar, tenant
Yeah,
manager. We talked about autopilot. So, yeah, I
I
think
do.
we're good.
No, I do have one more thing. I'm actually attending an event um,
Oh, that's right.
in September.
hmm
Um, I'm attending as kind of just an attendee, a guest. I'm joining
Oh,
the Experts Live team for the 2026 event, but this 2025 event that's happening in September, is looking pretty good. It's in central London and it's only 20 quid to get into. So pretty good. It's a half day event, like from 1 o'clock until 8 p.m. But certainly worth taking a look at that. I think that link goes to expertslive.co.uk. It does, and yeah, um, that'll get you in there. It's completely.
It's a 1 day event, right?
It's a half day event from 1
Okay.
p.m. until 8 p.m.
Okay.
But yeah, it's worth a look. There's some
Yep.
incredible speakers that I'm aware of who have signed up to speak. They have already been announced, I think, or they're being announced very soon. They're not on the website yet, though, but
Right.
they're coming very soon. Um, but yeah, and that sounds really fun as well.
Yeah, it looks fun actually. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, I think what they're expecting, a couple of hundred maybe.
I think the venue is pretty limited. It's a quite a small venue.
Okay.
It might be 150, 150.
That's a pretty good size though. That's
No, it is.
yeah.
It is. But yeah, I think 200 would be a squeeze. It's actually, if you have a look on the website, it's in an awesome venue. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
it should be. I think there's quite a limited space for sponsor booths. So
Yeah.
there's going to be, I think, two or three sponsor booths that can be there because, sponsors are good. You can talk to sponsors and see what they're up to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a half day event with, I think, two tracks. So there's going to be about eight or nine sessions for. No, actually, if there's two tracks, it can't be nine, can there?
Yeah. So
8 or 10
anyone
sessions.
that anyone that's there should come and see you and get
Yeah.
a
Well, you're not going to see me. I'm just joining to have fun. You can see the speakers and see the sponsors that are there. Um, Good. I mean, I'm glad this. Hopefully, this has gone well. I mean, I'm assuming people
yes.
can actually see us and hear us, and I haven't checked. And we've talked about that right at the start, and we highlighted
Right.
that where I'm not going to spend any time checking to see whether we're live because we're hopefully going to try and do this on a regular basis. Maybe
We have
next
the
week.
recording anyway, so we'll push that out anyways. So
Exactly. It's
right.
hopefully fine. But I actually just got internet installed in my office because until then I was borrowing the Wi-Fi from the nice people next door, which was fine for general web browsing and stuff. But um, I didn't really want to do a live stream with someone else's Wi-Fi because yeah, that would be a bit risky. So hopefully it's just gone reasonably well.
Yeah,
Um,
it's good.
but good. Yeah, that's all from us today, I think.
Yeah. All from
And
us, and you'll see us more.
I just a thought. I haven't been checking for any comments um, in the chat. We should probably do that next time. That seems like a really good thing to do.
Yeah,
So
we
if anyone
should
is,
do that. Yeah. But I don't see
yeah.
any though. I maybe I'm not seeing what you're seeing, but
So what we've done here is we've put it in learn.robopack.com, um, which I thought was a good place to put it. But it does mean, let me share my screen again. It does mean that, oops, robopack.com. It does mean that we don't have any comments. Um, there's a
ah, yes.
there's you can play it, but when you play it, you kind of don't have any comments down the side or anything like that.
Right.
So you'd have to go into YouTube to actually make a comment. So maybe that's why they're not coming through. But um, anyway, I
Yeah, we'll
wasn't
monitor
looking
that
anyway.
next
So
time. We'll keep an eye out.
exactly,
Yeah.
we should do some proper marketing stuff. Maybe we should hire someone who does that. Oh, we have a team. I just didn't tell them I was doing this, so my bad. Um,
Yeah,
all good.
I got it. So it's really interesting. This is not rehearsed or planned at all. I mean, you just sent
You
me an
don't say.
invite like an hour ago, and hey, join me. So here we are.
I think I should do some better planning. That's the main thing, really. I need to plan my time better. But I get so excited doing other things that
Yeah.
kind of forget to do that.
No,
But
but
anyway,
this is natural. It's fun. It's genuine. It is what it is. This is how we are, right? It's
exactly,
we're not scripters, and we got scripts that we go through. What we're gonna talk about and how we're gonna talk about. It's just free flowing. This is why it's office hours, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
And actually, on that point, I just got a text from the founder there. So the founder of
The
Robopack,
founder,
and
yes.
the founder of Robopack, and he says we're live. So at least he's watching.
Oh, he's
Um,
watching. Okay.
well, he must be because he just said we're live. So all good. Thanks, Harjit. Great to see you again.
Yeah.
Really enjoy speaking to you all the time. And obviously, we're going to be speaking a lot more because we're going to be doing this next week and then every week moving forward. So hopefully, everyone who's been watching has found this useful.
Yeah. And make sure to join us every time we
Yeah.
post it. Come join us and talk to
Maybe we
us.
should give a bit more notice than an hour next
We
time, though. Maybe
should.
that's yeah. Okay, but we've had double digits so at
I
least.
think I had like
Uh,
20 minutes before it started when I posted it out on social. I'm like, oh,
yeah, all
so
good.
we'll do
I
better.
can get
We'll do
better.
better. We'll let it.
I can get there. I can get better.
All
All right.
right. Until next
Good.
time.
Yeah. Oh, I don't even know how to end it. All right. See you soon, Hajit.
See you soon.
Bye bye.
Bye.